Yay Networks.
All right, welcome to a brand new episode of the Fittish podcast from Mexico. We've been here 2 weeks.
Yeah, a little more than 2 weeks, feels like.
Yeah, you got here 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
From your
Time
big drive
flies.
down. So we took last week off. I hope everyone had a nice Memorial weekend. We are feeling great. Are we feeling great?
I'm feeling great.
Let's do a check-in. We'll start doing a check-in each week. Well, it feels weird, just so y'all know, because if you watch the show on YouTube, we're kind of getting our bearings, and we're not holding mics right now. We have wireless mics on. We're sitting outside, so we may change scenery here and there. I think we need to decide. It's hard to know. We just moved to a foreign country. We're living in a house that's not ours. I haven't quite gotten my bearings yet, if that makes sense. So I appreciate y'all kind of giving us a little bit of a break.
Yeah, but the great thing is that you're seeing this whole process very raw. Like, we're not sugarcoating anything, which I believe we have had an actually amazing experience so far.
Yeah, I agree.
We have met great people.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling about the move?
10. I feel great.
Yeah.
How about you?
I feel like 8, probably. A 10 is just perfection, and I don't feel quite settled yet. But I feel a lot better than I thought I was going to feel.
Tell me all about it.
Tell you all about it?
Yeah.
I feel, in some senses, like it's too good to be true. I feel people have been super nice. It's exactly the vibe that I was hoping for. Frankly, I was a little intimidated and scared the first couple of days we were here, because you weren't here yet, and you moved to a new house in a new country where you don't speak the language really at all, and you're just uncertain about your surroundings, more or less. You don't know how safe it really is, or what people even kind of look out for, or what I should be watching for, not just in terms of other humans, but like all the snakes and the creatures. But after a couple of weeks, I've started to really get comfortable. I know my way around. This is a small town. Someone made a joke yesterday. I posted that it was like, there's 7,500 people that live here. And someone was like, that's a small town to you? Yeah, I guess. And so I had to Google small town, like I want to know definition in case I was misspeaking. And technically it's like a mid-sized town. Small town ends at like 6,500. Any smaller than like 2,500 is a village. So yeah, I mean, to me, we moved from a city that had 1.3 million residents, and this is 7,500
I'm very happy that you just cleared that out, because that was a tidbit of information that I'm pretty sure many people didn't know about.
Small town for me, I think we throw around small town.
Yeah, it is a small town. It is.
But y'all get it. I mean, of course, this feels like a small town. 7,500 people. I got my first Amazon delivery yesterday.
Yay.
I've been posting a lot of TikToks about this kind of stuff. For those of you that are interested, I feel like that kind of information people do like. People want to know, how much does stuff cost at the grocery store? How much does the lavanderia cost? That kind of thing. And so, I don't know. I like sharing that because I find that kind of stuff interesting too, whether it's more expensive or less expensive. But I found a paper store. That's what you do down here. You go to the paper store. They have all the stationery, the school supplies, and really, they're more of a package delivery after walking in there. They had some paper, but it was...
How do you say paper store in Spanish?
Papeleria.
Muy bien.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star.
Did I say that right?
Papeleria.
Papeleria. That was better.
Yeah.
Papeleria.
Yeah.
The R is a D, the V's are a B, B sound. I'm getting it, y'all. I've really been practicing my Spanish. For the most part, I think my Spanish is going to come into play in moments like that. This is when you're going into a store. And so this is where I really need to start to learn things, the grocery store, for instance. Now the women in there, her and her daughters, it's family run. Hold on, I totally digress. Let me stick with my story before I start telling you another story. But the Amazon I ordered showed up. It took a week. stuff that would have been same day back home. And I think I paid an extra $20. It was from Amazon Mexico. Your sister has subsequently written me and told me to use another service called Mercado Libre. Right.
Yeah.
So apparently that's another service, which I didn't even know about.
So Mercado Libre is like eBay. But eBay has, like, actually, I believe that Mercado Libre is owned by eBay, but it's the Hispanic version of Mercado Libre. So Mercado Libre is what eBay is for Central and South America and Hispanic, like Latin America.
So I have to bid on things?
No. It's like on eBay, you can also just buy things. So
outright.
It's just like it's just...
I thought eBay was just an auction site.
So the difference between eBay and Amazon is that Amazon was specifically for new products. Well, Amazon started as a bookstore, but it's for new products, and they sell now some used. But eBay was focused on selling used goods. Now eBay and Mercado Libre, you can put your marketplace, you can put your stuff in the marketplace there.
Oh, wow. Okay. I had no idea. Well, I'll check it out and get back to y'all on that. But after picking it up, it was $3.50-ish per package, which I would like to think one-day delivery would just be $3.50 to pick up all my packages.
That was really expensive. Right? Red Hots.
I know I should order Red Hots. I've been craving them and I can't find them. No, it was actually 2 different floaties for Remy, a swim shirt for Remy. I tried to keep it minimal and at things we actually really needed that we haven't been able to find here, and his swimmy things broke. So anyway, worthwhile if there's something you really need. But I think with how frequently Fran and I are going to, have to go back to the States, I'll be back in 3 weeks. So I'm just going to order a bunch of stuff that I feel that I've been missing. But if I'm totally honest with y'all, as someone who is a reformed Amazon addict, maybe I am-ish, Target addict, all of the above, we really don't need that many things. And I think something that's been so peaceful about all of this for me, and I try to think about ways that y'all can implement the slower living into your own life, just as a lot of people said, oh, Jenna, you could achieve this if you just don't live in Dallas and you move out to the country. And I think that there's actually a lot of truth to that. Now, I wouldn't get some of the culture that I get here, which is great, but or the ocean, which is pretty critical to our move. But having less items has just been life-changing in such a short period of time. Sure, I don't have all my stuff. I don't have certain pieces of furniture that I really liked that I had, kind of earned or curated for the house, and a comfortable couch and things like that. However, I, on Sunday, was able to put the laundry away that I had picked up at the launderia, right? Pull a few towels down from the line, put all of mine and Remy's stuff away, clean the kitchen, all in like 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes. And in the past, if I had ever tried to tackle a cleaning day, it would never get done. I would spend at least 4 or 5 hours to try and do most of the laundry on a given day. You know how it is. And so there's something really refreshing about that having less things, you have to stay on top of the cleaning. It also makes it easier to stay on top of. So yeah, I think that if you are willing to part with a lot of stuff, that's a really quick, emotionally not quick, but it's a really nice solution.
It's emotionally evolving, I believe. Like leaving all those things that you actually didn't need.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but you got to think over years of being 40 years old, working on the radio, we had that television show. I needed a different outfit every single day when we were filming. I had accumulated a lot of clothing, and I still feel, you would watch me, I still purged clothing. And being a woman is also different than being a man, because you go through these phases where you want all of these gadgets for the kitchen, and you think you're going to, use the air fryer every day and use the juicer and do all of this. So you do start to accumulate a lot of stuff by the time you're 40 years old. You get different hobbies over the years. I want to get into pastry cooking. I mean, y'all get it. I feel like a lot of people do relate to that. And that's why so many people have so many things. And then it's really hard to part with, not because of the fact that you spent the money and you think you may get around to using it again. And so, yeah, I definitely got rid of a lot of stuff that was difficult. And I still have stuff in storage, in case we decide to be more permanent down here and have furniture and whatnot. But for now, I think things have been feeling really light, which is what we wanted, right? We wanted kind of a reset.
But that is I think, that's amazing. It's the right word to say. It's a reset. If we want to start new hobbies, we'll get new gadgets. but first we weren't using 80% of the stuff that we had, and we were finding that out. No?
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's time to be able to feel a little more nimble.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I think it wasn't as much as the location as the actual act of editing our life to the minimum needed, to what we really basically need to enjoy life and no more. I'm pretty sure
I have bought some things, okay? I have bought some things. I'm not going to be that minimalistic. No, Fran has great intentions and he sticks with it. The stores here are awesome. There are so many cute boutiques. Ones, run by locals selling like linen clothing, linen dresses. There's curated boutiques from women that have moved here from, Europe or abroad. Affordability is good. I mean, there's definitely some stores that have more expensive items, but I wouldn't say it even comes close to some of the kind of the boutiques in a big city where you would shop. So I think I've really appreciated that. And there's something really special about buying stuff that was made here, whether it's like a piece of pottery. And something else I want to note, though, that I have found from like a time, in case y'all are interested, from like a time where I talk about saving time, right? Because this was the whole goal for me, selfishly. Selfishly about this whole move, it was really about kind of trying to enjoy my time more, not being exhausted at the end of the day. And so my kind of 2-week analysis.
How's that working out?
It's great because, again, going back to kind of the inability or the more, costly online ordering scenario, or kind of the lack of lots of stores and grocery stores or a Target or, things of that nature. It actually cuts me down on screen time sort of ill spent, right? Because, yeah, sure, I'm still going to sit there and watch social media videos and things of that nature. But I have noticed that what I didn't realize is that I would spend a lot of time, I'd get an ad on social media for a toy for Remy or a piece of clothing, and it would kind of send me on a 30-minute to 1-hour spiral of looking at stuff on the internet, right? Or I'd just browse on Amazon and start throwing stuff in a cart. But because I know that it's just not really an option here, I don't even go there. I think I'll order some stuff the week before I go home, anything I need. But aside from that, so that's another, probably hour a day that I'm not spending looking at stuff online that I don't really need, to then put in a cart and then maybe not get around to ordering it, but it was just kind of something to do, right? So just because it's not an option, same with kind of the Uber Eats and the late night eating. The other night at 10 o'clock, Fran and I are starving. There are no options. This is a ghost town.
I have to attest to that. Like, I don't know about the other stuff because I wasn't used to any of that. But
I'm just sharing my experience.
for sure. So that's why I cannot attest to that, because that's your experience. But I can attest to the Uber Eats. Like, you really became a caveman. You have to hunt and gather. You have to see the ingredients you have in the fridge.
This linen button-down boy in jeans, he's been hunting and gathering.
We have to go see, okay, so we have eggs, we have tortillas, we have some cheese. You pretty much put those in ChatGPT. Like, give me 5 options with egg, cheese, and tortillas.
The quick fire challenge, which I'm so not great at cooking to be nimble and do that. I can make good breakfast items and I'm good at baking, but but the point is, this is a good thing because Fran had a habit of ordering velvet taco and insomnia cookies at 10 o'clock at night. And I get to a point at night when I'm so tired, I'm not even that hungry, even if I had been hungry. And so I didn't even care that much about any of that stuff, but I would still eat it. So, you're spending a lot of money and you're ingesting a lot of calories that, frankly, we don't need to be eating that late. And so now we just kind of go hungry. Or, of course, I had frozen cauliflower pizza.
I don't allow that option to happen.
I had frozen cauliflower pizza, or we're eating Baby Bell cheese and chips. But
But we're certainly not getting amazing cookies or amazing tacos.
Well, okay, that's not fair. I made you semi-amazing cookies.
Okay. But we're not getting them from the outside world.
We're not
we have
getting
to
amazing
make
cookies.
them.
And I made them. Yeah, we have to make them so it makes you more intentional about your shopping. I went to the grocery store, going back to what we were speaking about before, and then we need to take a quick break. I went to the grocery store yesterday. There's one in particular I really like. I do think some of the items are more expensive, but I can tell that it's family run. It's like a mom and her husband and 2 older kids, and they're all so nice, and it's just really cute. It feels good. I like going, some of the grocery stores are like really dark, and I like, it feels light and airy and the produce is out. I don't know, I like it. So, and if you're going somewhere every day, right? So I was like, ¿tienes pollo? And she's like, oh no, and was telling me, I think like tomorrow, I have to check back tomorrow because they had a leg and then they realized they had sold the leg that they had. I guess it was one leg, is what she was telling me. And pierna?
Yeah.
Is that leg?
One only leg.
Una pierna is what she told me.
Wow.
And I was like, is it big? Like, was it a bit, wouldn't a chicken leg be like one small, it's like a wing almost, like a leg wing, a leg bone? Anyway, I don't know. So I understood some of this. I could not speak back to some of that, but I understood. And so point of that being, I practiced my Spanish, and sometimes you just have to buy what's available and what you can find. I ended up going to another store that I realized the other Mercado del Sol has a whole butcher shop in the back. And I kind of stumbled on that when I went to get you a Diet Coke. And I just find that so fascinating that some of these stores where you can buy like tires, I mean, they have everything that you might need. It's just such a random assortment of things.
No, it's like and this is going to sound really funny, but it's like a high-end Dollar Tree because they're really good quality products, but in a store you can find from a hammer to duct tape to cookies to coffee. Like it's just like a small town store where everything is compiled in one place, but actually they have really good quality stuff. I haven't stumbled into a situation where I cannot find what I'm looking, unless trash bags wasn't a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, trash bags.
But besides that...
And overnight diapers.
Overnight diapers, we just lost that battle.
Yeah. And a machete if you need it for snake hunting.
Oh, machete is easy to find.
Which we'll get to in just a second, but first we're going to take a quick break and hear from a couple of the sponsors of the podcast. This episode of the Fittish podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and I need to get something off my chest. I could not have survived the last decade of my life without utilizing therapy, the kind that BetterHelp offers. And BetterHelp makes it so convenient because before they were around, we had no choice but to Google or ask a friend and get in the car and drive and pay for expensive therapy. BetterHelp makes it so convenient, so much more affordable, and I love that I can do it from anywhere, especially now living abroad. I can still meet with a therapist online, just open up the computer or hop on the phone at any time and place that's convenient for me. And I'm telling you something that a lot of people think therapy only needs to happen at a time when they're really struggling with severe depression. And you think if you're not really depressed that you don't really need therapy. And I could not disagree with that more. Sometimes you just need a reset. You're confused about what the next step in your life is. You want to make a career change, but you're scared. You're struggling with a relationship. You don't know if it's healthy. BetterHelp is such a fabulous resource for meeting with a professional who can give you some really clear guidance on how to handle a lot of the things that we just struggle with in life, things that we can't just get off our chest to a close friend. I cannot say enough great things about it. So if you have something you need to get off your chest, try BetterHelp today. Fittish listeners get 10% off their first month when you go to betterhelp.com/Fittish. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Fittish for 10% off your first month. Welcome back to the show. So yesterday I was trying to shoot some content, actually. I'm trying to kind of get...
It's just her now.
Into my rhythm. Yeah, there's a lot of animals. That's why we don't know if we're going to be able to film the podcast outside all the time, if y'all like it, if it's too distracting. See, that's not what I heard before. That is more of a cricket. So yesterday I was hanging up our Fittish tote bag because I wanted to shoot some content. I got to get back into work, And we have a laundry line that runs along the backside, really of where we're sitting right now. It's kind of, it's farm adjacent. And there's some really high grass. and I'm hanging a bag and I hear a rather unmistakable rattling noise. And I've done a little bit of my research and watched some YouTube videos. Sure sound like a rattlesnake. And I know that they're here because I've had a lot of people tell me that they see them. Now, they tend to see them more as it gets warmer in the summer. They come out more like early in the morning and at night, and they'll see them on hiking trails. And, the good part about where we live is it's slightly elevated. Granted, it's next to a farm, but there's also a lot of activity, more people that live around here. So I would love to think that would ward off snakes. But I continued doing my business and told Mr. Snake, like, I'm here, I'm not here to hurt you. But I let there's a guy, a house manager that has actually been staying here since our landlord's been in Europe. And he takes care of the whole property. I mean, he takes care of the animals, and he, from bathing the pigs to fumigating to fixing the shower head, and, he does all this stuff. So he's really awesome. So he came over yesterday. He has on flip-flops, has a machete, has one of those long, I don't know what to call it other than a snake pincher grabber thingy, because that's all that you see, the really long.
This is what people use to pick up trash in the road,
It's a snake pincher grabber thingy.
And
you all know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to tell you the only thing he didn't have, worries in the world. Like, he was with his flip-flops. He didn't have any worries.
He is just macheting the grass. He said he's going to cut it back. We didn't hear it, though. He believes that it was not a rattlesnake, but he said it is possible. He said he just hasn't seen one around here in a while. But he proceeds to tell Francisco this story that I actually, as much as I start to understand more Spanish, I did not really understand what he was saying, other than the fact that something about a serpiente negra that was like 20 feet long, somewhere right here by where we're sitting. That's all I gathered, right? And then something about chopping his head off. What was he telling you?
No, he was telling me that right before we got here, he found a black serpent. But but the good thing is that he was trying to explain how we don't have to worry much about the rattlesnake because it's not an aggressive type of snake.
And they let you know they're there. They announce themselves.
So if you step on them, they're going to bite you. But if you don't, even if you get close, they're not just going to launch at you. However, he's like, well, we had this other black snake. That one is not venomous, but he's really aggressive. It's like, oh, cool, I can deal with that.
As you were like talking to him from inside the house.
And the thing is that he's like, and that snake has amazing qualities because that one goes up on trees to eat the baby birds.
He climbs trees, eats baby birds.
And can jump from the tree and bite you.
Jump from the tree to bite you. Is that aggressive? And he's not venomous, but he's huge. And I don't know if I'm crazy, but the venom
let us decide that.
The venom becomes the least of the concerns. And I said it yesterday on my social media, and I'll say it again. Like, snakes, I don't love because they're huge. You know what I mean? So they're hard. Like, spiders for me are not as big of an issue. And I know you hate spiders. I mean, they're creepy, but spiders for me are just not.
I think my new involvement into nature has taken away all my fears, Like, you see more freak out about spiders and scorpions now. Like, I feel pretty comfortable around them now.
I seem more freaked out?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You seem like you're worried about your first encounter. Like, I felt like your first scorpion encounter scarred you a little bit.
It hasn't scarred me. I bang my shoes out. You leave your shoes on the ground all the time. That's fine. I'm just going to sit here and wait for that scorpion to sting you. And then you're going to feel... I'm also the one that found the scorpion unexpectedly. So when you get spooked, you have yet to encounter your own critter. When you encounter your own critter and it just is like, hey, here I am, then you might be rattled for a minute.
I bet.
But you didn't see it. I mean, you weren't spooked by it. I alerted you to its presence,
Yeah, the funny thing was the playing possum, but anyhow, we already told that story. What a great experience we've been having. We want to know exactly what you guys want to know more about our journey. Like, if there's anything that is intriguing you that we haven't shared,
people have written me a lot about you doing content, about you making videos about moving here, kind of the legality of it, how long you can stay, you know, all sorts of questions like that. So I think you need to create some content around that, specifically for people that are interested in it.
DM me specifically on your questions, and I'll make sure to tackle them. I'm meeting with my content manager tomorrow, and we're gonna go through just.
Who is your content manager?
You don't know my content manager?
Unless she's sitting across from you right now, I do not know her.
No, he's sitting across of you. It's myself. Remy also helps a lot.
This is the thing. You can lead them to water. You know, that's the expression. You can lead them to water. Do you have an expression like that in Spanish? Do you know that expression?
Yeah, of course.
What is it?
Well, I know the expression. I don't know if we have one in Spanish.
Do you know what it means?
Yes.
What?
Well, that you can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Like, you can put every tool in front of him, but the thing is that I want to make sure that I give the right content, you know?
Okay.
I'm getting acclimated to our surroundings.
Yeah, what do I know about that? Yeah, for sure. It's been really nice.
I'll tell you all about it.
A lot of people ask me about meeting people down here, and a lot of people have written me questions about, you know, could I do this as a single mom? Could I make this sort of move? And I emphatically say yes. Now, being a single mom is, you're already doing the hard work every day, right? And so, sure, I think in the beginning, it might be that first week or two is just overwhelming moving in general. But from like a cost of living perspective and the sense of community that I've already encountered down here, it's very retro in a sense, you know, using WhatsApp, but women asking each other questions. Women seem very, what?
And like you call WhatsApp retro.
No, the style of how people communicate and seek help here. They literally put, well, you're not in the Bahamammies group that I'm in, but it'll be like,
I'm in the smoke alert group.
What's that?
We make a little bonfire. We put a blanket on top.
Why, when I say something true to my experience, do you laugh that I'm calling it retro? Everyone that moves to a small town in Mexico feels that it feels like you're living in the 1950s with some modern amenities, but in a sense that's positive, like in a community sense. Like, women here seem very, very helpful to each other, very nice, like very generous with their advice or whatever you may need. And, you know, I think I attribute it to maybe something that we wanted back in the States, but because we're so isolated as women and as moms in the States, especially when you're a first-time mom, there's just not enough resources for us. And sure, you can Google, you spend a lot of time on your phone watching other social media videos to kind of learn how to navigate becoming a mom. But here it's really cool because I see people just kind of asking to get together and asking, you know, hey, people are kind of throwing more events. It's just easier to seek out a sense of community. And women seem excited to kind of help you navigate moving here. And they'll be posting things like, hey, I'm going to Costco. Does anyone need a ride? Does anyone need me to get anything? I'm flying back to the States. Does anyone need anything? I really love that. And I think it's not because women back in the States aren't nice. It's just because we have everything there at our disposal. Why would you offer to your neighbor, hey, do you need anything from Target, when you can go to Target too? So, and that's fine. It's just the nature of it here makes it feels quite nice, right? Because it gives you more opportunity to connect and communicate with other women. And I just really like it, you know? I've met a couple of really nice women already, and they've told me after moving from Los Angeles, they go, you know, back in LA, you would say, let's make plans, let's go out to eat, let's do this. And then you just like would go a whole quarter without seeing a friend. And here people actually show up, you know, someone randomly is like, hey, we're having a drink, do you want to come? And it's so easy because you could literally roll out of bed and go. And so it just makes it easier to get together, way less intimidating, to just kind of take your child somewhere or go somewhere alone. My mom's gone to a couple dance classes. And that's so cool because maybe it's just me, but I started to feel like doing everything back living in a big city was a grind. I used to thrive on big city life, but then it's just started to become so hard, right? Like Friday night would roll around, which is so nice, but then you have a weekend as a parent and you're going, what are we going to do this weekend? And here, sure, there's not actually probably as much to do, but you have the beach and it's so casual. You could just hop in the car and go down there and for $5, like rent a chair or not, bring your own picnic and hang out. And there's tons of kids playing, tons of people surfing. It's super safe. I feel more and more safe the longer I've been here. And it's really nice. I don't know. I really like that, and then you can just roll and eat anywhere in a bathing suit.
This is the real sense, the real meaning of community. Like we're really experiencing that, and it's so relieving. Like everybody is like, it's this, we're in this together. It really, like if there's anything you need, we're here to help each other. And I think they have evolved so far in that same sense. Like I think there's people from every background. I'm pretty sure there's the socialite from LA that moved here just for a quieter life, and there is the couple that were living in a van for their entire life and moved here. So it's not a like who has more or who has less or who's who. It's about everybody and everybody help each other and everybody's part of the community. And
because regardless of people's backgrounds, people that have chosen to move here, everyone, I think it's clear, wants the same thing. Even if some people lean a little more, crunchy granola, or they lean a little more luxury. Everyone's priority, it's very clear, has been kind of revolved around their kids' experience, growing up in nature, kind of getting out of whatever they were in before, or again, just kind of what we were looking for. Even going to an event the other day, and I'm glad you brought up kind of the have or the have not here, because a lot of people have been asking me, do you feel this sense of relief that it's not like the keeping up, the rat race, the kind of keeping up with the Joneses is the expression. And yeah, I think that's cool, right? Because I think I've kind of stopped caring about that in the last few years of my life, because you kind of realize it doesn't have as much value and meaning. But it's really refreshing. It can be really difficult, should I say, living in a big city where you're still kind of inundated with all of the have and the have not. And here it's just so different. Do you know what else is so fascinating? And I don't know why this is. I don't see any how I couldn't even drive downtown Dallas sometimes anymore. Remember, but when we were staying down there to move out,
yeah.
I mean, it's just like zombies walking around, super addicted to drugs. And I don't know if that can be attributed, because it's not that there's not people that are probably, super impoverished here, but it seems like people take care of each other really well. I don't see anyone like that.
That is also a Mexico cultural thing. Like, I'm not saying we have a huge poverty problem for sure in the country, but you don't see, like in the US, you don't see Mexican or Hispanic people homeless. Why? Because we don't
let that happen to each other.
And we especially in the land like the US, like you can go to a construction site and find a job in a 3-second span. Like, we're fighters, and we're also families that help each other. Like, if you know that you have a cousin that is about to go homeless, you invite him to live at your house.
Yeah, you have 15 people living in there, but
yes,
until they get on their feet and figure it out.
And it's something that it doesn't bother. Like in Mexico, we have a saying, like, from the rincón a rincón to descolchón, like everywhere in this house could be a mattress, So it's something, yes, wow. Like, as long as they fit, they can stay in. Like, it's something really neat about our culture. Like, we might have many defects as a society, but something that we do have is that in the worst case scenario, we're there for each other.
I love it. I really, really love it. It's been really refreshing.
Of course, in most cases, I have to do those little...
Yeah, I know. I mean, nothing's 100%, nothing's perfect, but... So yeah, it's been nice. I think Fran and I now, we're all going to kind of struggle with our own rediscovering kind of an identity in our day-to-day schedule. How are we going to work best? Where are we going to do the podcast from? We can get feedback from y'all. Hopefully Remy gets into a little school here soon. If not, what are we going to do? And how are we kind of going to manage, him and our lives, and what does that look like? So, we've gone to exercise a bit, and we've gone to a couple of kind of kid-friendly events, and there's always something going on the weekends here. However, I don't know if it was just because of the election on Sunday, but Fran and I we're trying to do like a weekly date night to really get back to a better relationship, with one another. And because that's something I think we had been really dropping the ball on, as a lot of new parents probably do. But we went on a date night. I've kind of planned the last 2 date nights are the only 2 we've had since we've been here. Last weekend was a hit. It was an amazing event. This last one, I messed up a little bit. We went to this restaurant, constantly walking in places here being like, this is here? This place is beautiful.
It's just crazy because the town, it's a beautiful little town. Like I'm not saying it's an average Mexican town. It's a really nice, beautiful
it's
town.
Definitely more tourist focused for sure.
But we went into a restaurant that looked, for all of you that are from Dallas, looked like the Rosewood Mansion. Like it was, and more beautiful if you ask me.
It was stunning.
It was stunning.
And then you're like, this
every
is here?
detail.
Some people were giving me shit online. They were like, that doesn't look like you moved to a small Mexican surf town. I go, no, you're right. I mean, we eat with our feet on the sand and the beach with 10 people the other night, and it was so casual and so awesome. And then there's places like that for a date night, which is nice. And then I went to take us to some big party that I saw was going on, and we went, and there was no one there, and they said it was actually not until...
Was it not only no one there, the place was closed, and we sneaked in, and they're like, we're closed.
Right, and they were saying the event is next weekend. So I got that one wrong, and so we drove around looking for a place to eat dinner. Nowhere was serving alcohol because of the election the following day, and everywhere was closed. So that was interesting. We found somewhere to eat, but it was 8:15 p.m. It was a ghost town. And a lot of people have joked and said that it's called Baja Midnight here, that 8 o'clock, nothing. Once the sun goes down, nothing. And I think you get that with a surf town and with people a lot of young families. People get up when the sun comes up and they go to bed when the sun goes down. And there's nothing else going on. But I don't mind that because I'm not a big partier.
But if there is anything, that is the testament that we moved to a surf town that has Remy scheduled now.
Yeah.
Because that's his schedule. Like he wakes up when the sun comes out. Unfortunately, the sun has been coming up at 5 a.m. And he goes down when the sun goes down, which is around 7 p.m.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. wake-ups have been rough. So let's finish the show today. I want to ask you what has been the most, you're from here. But I know that you say since you haven't lived here in so long.
No. And this is a dramatically far experience from my past Mexico experience. Like I used to be in a city. I used to be in Mexico City. I lived for a little bit in Guadalajara. This is nothing I've experienced before. Guadalajara was, when I was there, it was a little more international because there was a university where a bunch of people from the US and Europe used to come study. But this is a departure from all that, I think.
So I was going to ask you, what has been the thing here that's been most surprising to you, positive or negative, in your last 2 weeks since we moved?
So I think it doesn't have to do with the place where it's been the most surprising, but the most surprising thing is how smooth things have gone. Like it's been 2 weeks, so I cannot speak for a big experience, but everything has gone really smooth. Like we have found our way of living little by little, like the way that we handle life. I feel that it's been really seamless. What could be the most shocking is and not shocking because I wasn't expecting it, but because I wasn't expecting it to the level that it is, how amazing the community is. Mm-hmm. How everybody have been such a great addition to our life, like such a great help. Like everybody is
I feel that they're going to hate us for shedding light on this place. Like it's kind of more hidden and magical and they don't want it to be because it's just going to, I think this place is going to.
I think it's
grow so much in the next few years, especially with its kind of proximity to Cabo and some of these other places. But, to think we're surrounded by cities with a population of 1 million people and we're living in this area, it's pretty crazy. It's most surprising to me is that like no one stops at stop signs. I just had no idea that was the case. And every Mexican's been laughing at me going, no. This is everywhere in Mexico. This is how Mexicans drive. If there's no one at the stop sign when you approach, you do not stop. And that's so funny, right? Because growing up in the States, when you take your driving test, I mean, you not only stop, you usually have to like inch out and stop again.
Chill.
And you don't...
If you take the driving test, you stop.
Oh, okay.
It's not a written rule. Like, you got to stop. That's the rule. The thing is that Mexicans, we're always in a hurry. So,
are you?
Yeah.
To do what?
Stuff, places to be.
So much of your driving history makes so much sense to me after moving here. You don't tend to have empathy for your partner until you kind of live where they are from or something like that. So much about it makes a lot of sense to me now with your driving as I watch other people drive around. Like I'll just approach an intersection and I'm like, do I go? Do I go now? Should I? Oh, no. I paused too long?
Life is for the takers. You have to take your... But it's an non-spoken rule. Like when you go into the stop, like intersection, you know which intersections you have to stop and which ones you can just do the slow roll, and which ones you just fly through.
Yeah. Like, am I missing a green light that says speed up somewhere at this intersection? So that's just a small thing, but y'all, what's so cool about doing this is what an invigorating kind of experience, right? So a lot of you I know that are considering it or kind of watching us from afar, I'm not saying that you need to pick up and move abroad because, yeah, that is quite daunting to move internationally. But I think to start really researching places where you like the weather, places where you can get outdoors more, where the air is cleaner and fresher, and the food here, obviously, like quality of food is just so much better. It's so nice to just get like fresh juice every day and have such nice produce. So that's really, I've been actually more excited about that than I originally thought I would be. But, I think that it's a good time to really start looking and setting goals for yourself of where could I slow down, and it can still be in the United States. There's plenty of places, but, if you're living in and feeling overwhelmed.
Break the parameter.
From a kind of the hustle and bustle, which I get. I just started to kind of reject it one day. And I never thought I would live anywhere other than a major city. Like I couldn't have even envisioned moving back to Ohio or where I was from. I just couldn't do it after living in such big cities. And then all of a sudden something came over me. And it's really been filling my cup up in a different way. Still a lot to learn and a lot to get through over the summer. As we've heard here, summer gets pretty rough from a bug and power outage standpoint. So, hopefully we haven't spoken too soon. But we'll see. We'll manage, we'll make it, we'll be resilient. But I think everything we get on the other side of it's pretty wonderful. So 2 weeks down.
Yeah. We'll be in touch.
6 months so far to go, I think, right?
We'll be keeping you updated and see how things evolve. So far, everything is good. So far, Remy is loving every second of it. Like, I've never seen my kid so happy and so... I think the thermometer for me is how easy he goes to sleep because he's tired. He is stimulated.
Mm-hmm. I think that just says a lot about nature because we haven't been watching as much television. We're still watching television. We're not perfect. We throw shows on in the morning sometimes to buy us some time to make breakfast and whatnot. But the TV really doesn't tend to go on unless it's Friday night and we say, let's do like pizza and movie. Because I want to start that tradition for some reason. I don't know why. I just want a child that wants to like do pizza and movie night because that sounds fun to me on a Friday night. So I got to condition him into that. He had like one bagel bite. But anyway, I think that the screen time, it does make things more difficult at first if they've gotten used to it, but it's been really nice to just get him outside a little more. I mean, we're painting rocks. We didn't paint rocks at home, but you can paint rocks at home. But yeah, just trying to get outside a little bit more, I think is going to ultimately be really good for him.
So to wrap it up, I have a question. So from crunchy granola to lox, where are you in the scale?
I'm scrunchy.
It's completely crunchy granola or...
Okay, scrunchy. No, crunchy.
Uh-huh.
It's crunchy is here. Silky is here. Scrunchy is here.
Oh, wow.
I'm mid.
Nice. You think you're gonna start going towards more like crunchy or more silky?
Yeah, I think I'm like crunchy adjacent. I think I'm 51%
Let me
crunchy,
see. Yeah, I see that.
49% silky.
I'm gonna go for 30.
30% silky?
I'm just
Or
kidding.
30% crunchy?
No, 30% silky.
Oh no. I just shaved. You were just kidding. I did good because the other day I looked down and was like, oh.
Making selva madre.
What?
Like a whole like jungle there.
No. Yeah, I think, but I like it. I think I'm crunchy adjacent. I think I'm just scrunchy.
Okay.
What are you?
I think I'm still a little more lean, like maybe scrunchy, you know? What do you think? You tell me.
I think you're crunchy in all the wrong places.
Okay, I want to hear about this.
Let's save it for next week.
Okay.
Next week, I'm going to tell you why I think Fran's crunchy in all the wrong places. We'll see you next week.